Hello and welcome to this chat view with Rob Ballentine and the English Sisters.
Good morning, Rob.
Hey, and good morning to you too.
How are you? How are you on this gorgeous spring day?
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's nice and foggy outside, which is great. Couldn't want for anything more. It means I can go outside and I can walk around and no one will see me.
The invisible man.
Well, that's interesting about fog, isn't it? It's very mysterious.
Well, it does have a tendency to lift, though, very quickly at times.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for later on in life.
Well, you don't need that right now, do you?
No, I work at it every day. You wouldn't believe that.
You look beautifully handsome.
Yes, very handsome today for this chat
Lovely,
view.
youthful appearance.
We appreciate it. Yes, we do. We do.
Oh, you're so.
I mean, coaches and hypnotists and things, they do tend to have lovely looking skin, don't they?
Which is surprising considering all the tragedy and the hell and the horror they have to deal with in life.
Well, do they really?
We don't find that, do we?
We don't, but then we do a particular kind of hypnosis. The feel-good kind.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's face it, who doesn't want to feel good?
Yeah. Well, actually, a fellow hypnotist was telling us yesterday that he doesn't want to feel good all the time.
No,
he has to feel the bad to feel good.
Yeah. He said, if it's too good all the time, I think it's like fake. And I can't believe it, and I think this is not real. So I have to go through feeling bad in order to be able to then feel really good again. So we wondered about that, didn't we?
We did. We thought that's strange.
Well, that's
we thought, like what Richard Bandler says, how much happiness can you take? I mean, people really do think that. How much happiness can they take? They really, it really exists because people say, I can't feel good for too long.
No.
I need to feel bad so I can feel good again. So they said, well, that's okay then. As long as they control the bad time, they think, oh, well, I have to feel bad now for like 10 minutes, then I'm going to feel really great again. Well, that's a very good thing.
Well, yes, you can have your periods of feeling bad. We said feel very, very bad then. And enjoy that bad feeling and really enjoy it.
Enjoy crying,
put
enjoy
some
snots.
Yeah, put some sad music on and really go for it and cry your heart out.
Absolutely. Just get into that. Get in touch with the depth of pain and terror in
That's right.
The fact that you can find it.
Yes.
But he was actually because obviously some people feel really bad because they have a reason to feel bad and they need help or they have to sort themselves out. But he just said he needed to feel bad. He just needed it. So it was a choice. He was choosing to feel bad. So he'd actually go and look for bad things that were happening in the world. It was, his strategy for going to look for bad was quite
It was interesting, yes. Well, that's another story.
That is. Let's get on with your story.
Yes.
You have a little story to tell us, don't you? We're rambling on again.
I know, we have a tendency to do that. And it's only going to get worse, so you better tell us your story.
Yeah. So, look, it's not my story, actually.
No.
It's actually my wife's story, but I think it's kind of quite pertinent to a lot of people in this world. And it's certainly, as far as the personal development industry is concerned as a whole, no ambiguity implied. My wife, she started a business off about 8 months ago. And prior to this, she'd become a mother. She'd been a mother for about 3 years, her first child. It sounded like, it's her child, it's not mine. During this time, she'd become lost as a mother. She didn't know who she was. She'd lost her sense of identity because she'd spent so long looking after our daughter and spending this time mothering her and being there for her 24/7. So she really felt that she had lost who she was. And I think, as part of this, there was this big thing that's kind of hidden, that being a mother, you should instinctively know what to do.
Oh, yes.
you should know how to mother. And there were so many people, not just her and her friends and so on and so forth, that had really struggled with this so-called instinct. And so she became really involved in a lot of research, a lot of reading, and a lot of trial and error in how to help our daughter sort of grow up and grow through things, And there's a lot of feedback as well, and all this sort of stuff. So she became really lost in who she was. She spent 30 however many years being who she was as a single person and going through her life and enjoying that, and then suddenly becoming a mother. It was like, who am I?
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. I'm just someone who goes about daily doing my daily chores, making sure my daughter's well and being looked after. So she started about 8 months ago with a friend of hers. She says, well, look, I need to find myself. I need to find something that's a passion, find something that I can learn to discover who I am again. And she started with a friend of hers to go into the wedding industry. Her mother, some years ago before she passed away, was involved in the wedding industry, creating beautiful sort of wedding doll gifts. They're stunning piece of artistry and craftsmanship. And without kind of knowing it, she sort of found herself being drawn to this industry. And she started off writing a blog. Initially, they were just going to do wedding planning and organize people's weddings. She's a great organizer. She's amazing at organizing, something that I'm not. And she thought initially, let's go and do wedding planning. And she started to have a look at this, and then thought, well, it's just not me. I'd rather write about something. She likes writing, enjoys writing. So she got together with a friend of hers, and they both kind of said, well, why don't we just write a blog? Why don't we just blog about wedding stuff? So they started to write and got it together and found a name that seemed to fit. I think it actually fitted more my wife than it did her friend. So the name of the business was called Alice in Weddingland. As this whole sort of whimsical down the rabbit hole thing that as a bride to be, as soon as the man proposes to you, you suddenly go, oh my goodness me, now what do we have to do? We've got to plan things. We've got to find this and this and this, and then the mother-in-law gets involved, and the dog and the cat and the fish, and there's this whole sort of 2-year long planning event going ahead to create this magical, beautiful day. And so she thought, well, why don't I do something for this? I'm good at organizing, I'm good at planning. Maybe I'll just start blogging about it. And that was it. That was really what she was going to do. It wasn't going to be as a business. It was just as a hobby, just as something to do to while away the time and sort of find her own sort of personal passion. And she started to do this, but the difference in what she did compared to many other people in some respect is she went to find things that were beautiful, that were intricate, that were well crafted, that were different to the normal traditional wedding that you would get out there. And she thought nothing of it other than, I've seen something that I love, it's gorgeous, why the hell wasn't that around in my time of getting married, and started to write about it. She's now 9 months on, and she's written for every single day. So she's got over 200 blog posts on there. Each one takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We're going to find something and write about it and create it and put the photos together and so on and so forth. In that time, she never expected anything other than just something to enjoy doing. And see what came out of it, if anything else. What has come out of it is, I think, far more than she ever expected, far more than she ever realized could happen. Number one, she found out who she was. She re-identified with herself as not just being a mother, but as being a human being, as being someone who said, I have a place in this world, and I can do that. She created a blog that has become an inspiration to other people within her industry, to also brides and maybe grooms who want to find out things that are different, that are hard to find, that are unique, non-traditional, and kind of whimsical. But I think the key message that I'm trying to sort of say here is that what she did was she did it without expectation. She didn't go into it saying, I'm going to run a business, I'm going to earn £1 million a year or have a six-figure sum. I'm going to find something that I'm interested, that I'm passionate about, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And throughout this time, she's learned so many skills that you can't teach, but they just become part of you because you put your energy, because you put your passion into it. But the thing is, success didn't happen overnight. No. It didn't happen in, 1 or 2 months. It's taken time. And it's this personal success. There's this success of putting your heart into something by being consistent at it, that she's managed to achieve the results that she's now got. Now she's been asked to feature right in an up and coming high street magazine.
Wow, fantastic!
In 6 months, she has 40,000 views on her website each month. 20,000 people hit the site, and now we're expanding the business out to other sites. And starting to find that there's a potential for an income here.
Yeah, great.
But I think the key thing is when we kind of take this back to the level of personal development, personal change. If one goes back to something like an NLP course, for example, or a hypnosis course, the type of change that people will get, if you think about it, a standard NLP course, let's say 14 days, they're from 7 to 22 days or so, somewhere in the middle, 14 days. Whether you do that over an intensive period or 14 days straight, or it's spread throughout 3, 4, 6 months or a year, if we think of it in that way, if you couldn't but not get change on the course, then there is a serious problem with the trainer and the group, and so on and so forth. That unfortunately, in a way, the way that NLP has developed, not a fault of its own, but maybe a problem with the market and marketing, is that it's become this one-all catch-all instant change. Come along, see me, 1 or 2 sessions, and you'll have that happy, smiley life that you want. And I think if we look at the reality of it, the reality is if you go on a course, you're going to get some change, and it's going to be quite phenomenal because the change will tend to be exponential, And if we really look at change for people, that's the kind of things that we really want to be sort of passing on is, look, change doesn't always happen in an instant. If you want that perfect, wonderful, successful life and at that six-figure sum and be smiling and happy all the time, it's not going to happen in one go. That it takes consistent work and consistent work in itself, and that the change does really come from within finally. And that the courses, that the mentors, the people are there, or should be there in a way, in my opinion, to act as guides, to help guide the people. And that I think in a way that the NLP in itself and the market that's out there may well fall into its own sort of mouth in the end. I sincerely hope not. There's some phenomenal trainers and people and organizations out there like you guys. And in a way, I think it's important for people to find that the message for change, for personal transformation in whatever it is, isn't something that should just be done and left. It's about consistency.
Well, it's about putting it into practice every day, isn't it? It's getting up in the morning and saying, I'm going to live like this today. I choose to live like this. It's not just about going on a course and then just forgetting about it and then just going back to all your old routines and old habits and old roads you used to drive on.
No,
you have to take new roads. You have to go on new adventures. You have to see things differently because you know how to. That's what NLP gives you. It gives you the tools to know how to manage your brain to see things differently.
But then you have to go on that new road.
You have to do it every day.
If you're going down the same old bumpy road, then you're going to stay on that road.
Yeah, you're going to get burst tires all the time.
You will get burst tires all the time. But some people, they do insist on staying down that bumpy road.
Yeah.
And that's also a choice.
That's their choice, so that's free. They're free then because they've seen what they can do with their own minds. But it is about managing your mind and managing your brain, I think. It's almost like software. What do you feed into your computer? It's like the food you eat. What kind of foods do you eat? Are you feeding yourself good things that your body is going to be able to process and turn into good energy? Or are you just feeding yourself rubbish? Everything you put in your brain, it comes out, doesn't it?
Of course it does. It really is. And it's really getting the state that you were in during that NLP training course and bringing it back into your home and inside you.
So the
and
state
carrying it with
learning,
you.
Of curiosity, of wanting to...
That awakened awareness has to stay inside you. That's how it has to come out. It cannot remain there
it's
where
like
you did
going
the
back
course.
to your wife. If she had just started the blog for a month and then said, I've had enough of this and left it, that she wouldn't be where she is today. You wouldn't be where you are today with the business. It's like us. We started off like that as well. We just started off writing a little blog and saying, this is fun. This is something to do that's really great fun. And then it's all developed from there. So, but it's consistent, and people have said to us, "You're very consistent. You do things every day. You keep taking those steps." And
there is a rhythm to it. There is a method. There is a discipline. Yeah. There is a discipline to being happy, and it's one that can be learnt. And it's fun. Huh? I mean, I always say it's serious because it's a self-discipline that
yes, it almost is like a self-discipline.
It is a self-discipline. You have to practice it.
It is. Absolutely. And I think that's the key thing is, as you know, it's a discipline. It's about consistency. It's about continuing doing something, applying what you learn to what it is that you do. I've been on LinkedIn for the past 8 months or so and just having a look around there and made a few friends and stuff. And you get so many people who have done the courses, practitioner, master practitioner, whatever, and they go in and they write things and da-da-da-da-da. And when you have a look at the majority of questions from the people who've been on the courses, you think, weren't you taught this? Weren't you taught, did you teach or did you train and not sort of mention and talk about the thing that you've got to go out there and try these damn things? Go out there and do it. You will learn through practice, through failure. The amount of failures that I've had over the years was probably more than the successes in some respect. But the successes get better and better, and they become far more elegant in the way that you teach people, work with people. And I remember the first time I finished my training and went out and thought, I'm going to change the world, and it's amazing. Wow, all this sort of groovy, cool stuff. I can do anything. I'm going to become this. I'm going to become that. And I went along and did a business presentation. I was invited by a business colleague of mine. Said, "Look, you sort of know about stress management stuff. Why don't you go and teach some people here?" So, yeah, okay. So I went out there, all sort of passionate up, and organised everything. Put the PowerPoint up, and stood in front of 200 people and said, "And this is it." I had the stoniest faces I'd seen in my life. I got people yawning and bored. They had no idea what they're doing. And I just sat there and went, oh, maybe it's not like that then. And, at that point, very early on in my career, it was like, okay, I was good in the training room, but now in the real world, it's just, they're different.
Yeah.
You know? But it's these knockbacks and these failures. The providing one, consistently goes back and just doesn't go, that's it. There's no feedback only, or no failure, only feedback. Yeah, well, in actual fact, there is failure. And there's failure at the time of when you feel it.
Yeah.
But if you stay there, then yeah, there's failure. The art is in going beyond that, and going beyond your own expectations, as you've done.
That's right.
There is no failure, only feedback. I think that's just like a general. The way we interpret it is that you fail, but then you get the feedback from it. So don't consider it a failure that's going to put you down. Consider it's a failure that's going to lift you, because it's going to give you a new experience. So not to do it again.
It's valuable information processed. If you process it as valuable information, it remains as valuable information. It will be retained.
Harm you. It won't be a failure that you think, oh, I failed at that. I can never do that again. I can never do that again. I'm useless. I'm a failure. I can't do public speaking again. I can't do presentations again. I failed. It won't be like that. It'll be failure feedback. Immediately the feedback comes in and you think, feedback. What did I learn from that? What can I learn not to do it next time? Which are very, very valuable lessons. So it's like sort of reframing failure.
Yeah, I think so.
That's how we see it.
I see it, yeah. And if the public was with stony faces, it probably gave you a lot of feedback as well as to what you could have done at the time to turn those stony faces into smiley faces. Or perhaps, get them more active, more involved.
Yeah, that's it. And, I think for people who are starting out in this industry, people who want to learn NLP or hypnosis, is embrace the failures. Embrace them because they are your biggest teacher.
That's true.
In a way, learn to fail.
That's right.
Learn to fail because, and personally, I find, if you're doing something very simple, and that is a phobia cure, it's a nice, fairly easy one that gives pretty consistent, immediate results. Learn to fail at it. Fail at it. Do it deliberately, and find out where it doesn't work. If you find out where it doesn't work, then find the bits that do work, and then add them to the next piece, and add them to the next piece. Then success will come as long as you can measure failure with success.
Well, that's right. There's always two sides to the coin, isn't there?
Very interesting.
We'll leave you on that note.
Yeah, it was wonderful as usual. It's always very, very lovely to chat with you, Rob. You have a lot to share, and we love listening to your stories. I think they may help many people in many different ways.
Yeah, well, a lot of young mothers feel like that, don't they?
Well, yes,
And
definitely.
older mothers.
Well, yeah, any mother really at the beginning. And it's lovely to see how your wife has blossomed now as a mother and has found her passion as well. Obviously, she had a little help from somebody who lives in the house with her.
Our dog's amazing. You should see him, I tell you. We had dog whisperer.
So she's obviously a lucky woman then. She has a wonderful dog.
No, but that's a lovely story.
It is a lovely story, yeah, and it's lovely. It's lovely to feel how proud you are of her as well when you talk. The love comes across, and that's a lovely message as well.
It is.
It's really lovely. Yeah. It's lovely.
And it doesn't matter how amazing and how many great things that I've learned in NLP, that I can apply and use. Hell, we argue like cat and dogs at times.
You probably need that those little arguments.
Yeah, they're necessary
to keep
too.
the little sparks flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of being human.
It is.
As long as you resolve them afterwards.
That's it.
You learn from them, don't you?
We do. It's a
learn to
learning time.
understand one another.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me again on the video call. It's great to see you both, and great to see that you again through your own consistency, through doing what you're doing, all the time, that that you're moving places, that you're making waves, and good to see again 2 people that are here inspiring other people. So thank you for that too.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
lovely, lovely to talk to you.
Lovely, lovely indeed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Au revoir.